Hello children, it is me, McGrouch, and I have a problem. I love missiles. They're fast, they're fun, and they taste great with some ketchup. See right there, I used the rule of threes to make a joke. But do you know what's better than 3? 4. Everybody loves those classic 4-person teams. The Four Stooges, the Four Musketeers. What cartoon group is more well known and beloved than Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and Sora? This has led me to realize that I have been running around this game with a non-optimal number of rockets. You know me, I love running that sweet EAT, but that only provides me with 2 rockets. Sure, I could take the Wasp, but then the missiles become too small. They also exhibit a volatility which we in the Helldivers shitposting community call loosey-goosiness. What I need is 4 decent-sized missiles. Not 2 big ones, not like 70 small ones, just 4 reasonably sized, reasonably explosive projectiles. Luckily, I know of a weapon that fits into just such a category. But before we get into that, it appears YouTube has a new mechanic. It's called Hype. By clicking the Hype button that's under this video, you will essentially help promote the video. Please do it. I am desperate. The Commando is a very simple weapon that likes to make itself more complicated than it needs to be. It was not enough to just make 4 small rockets in one package. That would be too easy. This fucker is like a smart home appliance. It has a bunch of other bullshit that you really don't need, and in many cases is going to be the reason that you go outside in wet socks. This needless complexity comes in 2 distinct forms: the laser guidance and the laser suggestion. Let's first talk about the laser guidance. You see that laser? That one right there. The missile follows it. Laser go up, rocket go up. Laser go into Hawkeye, rocket go into Hawkeye. Sounds useful, right? You can blind enemies before you even hit them. Wrong. This mechanic will fuck you up with the sedate regularity of a very tired alarm clock. Because while you can change the trajectory of the missile in midair to hit something, you can also adjust it to miss. And it is not as easy as you might think to stand there and wait for the rocket to make it all the way to the target, as a lot of the things that you are going to find yourself using this against have a nasty habit of running directly at you, leading to a game of chicken that I find myself losing all too often. Bagok, luckily you can disable this feature, a fact I did not know until halfway through making this video.
What? Oh my god! Has that always been a feature?
Then of course there is the second method of smart firing this stupid weapon. Pinning a target with the laser, then hip firing. This will lead the rocket to attempt to hit a random part of whatever enemy you have designated. An interesting feature, but one whose presence I cannot seem to parse. Why is this a feature? What was this meant to do? Who could this possibly be for?
I did not do at all what I'd expect.
I'm not sure, but I have my suspicions, and they scare me. No, there's really only one correct way to use this weapon, and that is in unguided mode. Are there times when you want to use the laser? Yes, there are. When the enemy is so far away that you're not sure you'd hit them with an unguided missile, and they don't pose an immediate threat to your person. Otherwise, use this weapon like what it really is, a quad launcher, or as I like to call it, the quancher. Use it to quench things like chargers, hulks, bile titans, and baby, you know it takes down those fucking war striders. One tap to the joints. Finally, a simple solution that doesn't require me to unequip my beloved in favor of thermite grenades. It just takes my support weapon slot. I wasn't using it anyway. And given the disposable nature of this weapon, it won't be taking up that space for very long. But how long exactly will it not be taking up space? Well, here is where another shortcoming of this weapon lies in wait. The cooldown. Where the cooldown of the EAT is 70 seconds, this weapon has a cooldown of 120 seconds, almost double the time. So, even though the totality of this weapon's damage is slightly higher than what you would get out of 2 EATs, the longer cooldown means your overall damage per mission is going to be lower. To illustrate this point, I've created a new metric called damage per cooldown second, or DPCS. The Commando has a DPCS of 36.666, repeating of course, while the EAT has a DPCS of 57.14. Essentially what this means is that the Commando charges you for the privilege of having 4 rockets that you can carry with you in time spent waiting. But Grouch, I don't think that is a very good metric for measuring the viability of weapons. Oh yeah? And why is that? Well, it's not like you're going to be shooting the rocket right when it gets off cooldown. That's, it's a misleading metric. Listen man, all metrics are misleading. DPS assumes I hit all my shots in that hypothetical second. Newsflash, I wasn't going to. Who cares if you don't call in the EAT every 70 seconds on the dot? The point is that you can choose to trade some convenience and burst damage for higher single rocket damage and a shorter wait. And if I know anything about my fellow Helldivers, It's that patience is not their strongest suit. It is for this reason that I choose to place the Quancher below the EAT, audience gasp sound effect. A take that I now know could be controversial given the fact that I did the unthinkable on this one and asked somebody who knew more than me.
In general, I would probably be taking the Commando over Eat 17 in many cases, because having the 4 rockets on my person, instead of being able to shoot one, stay around the same spot, shoot another, just makes more sense.
And that's not all Odo had to say. He also spent some time questioning the relevancy of the Quancher altogether.
Factor in Eat 17 having a delay on being able to fire, and the fact that the Commando takes multiple rockets to kill certain enemies. It just begs the question, why not bring a different gun?
Yet another point that I am going to have to disagree with him on because I need another 3 minutes out of this video. Now, as for whether or not the Quancher actually outperforms other support weapons, we'll talk about that in a second. But there are still definitely times when you are going to want to take a Quancher over a good old-fashioned EAT. The first one that comes to mind is Hulks. This thing will 1-tap them to the head and 2-tap them to the body. Compare this to the EAT, which 1-taps to the visor, 1-taps to the heatsink, and 1-taps to the body. The point is that the Quancher is best used against enemies with highly vulnerable sections. Sections that can be destroyed with half the damage inflicted by an EAT. This is primarily going to be on bots. They almost always have a glowing red spot or open heatsink that you can fire a shaped charge into. The only question is, can you actually hit it? The Quancher is second best against the bugs. You can kill most medium enemies on the bug front with 1 shot from this, and most heavy enemies in 2, assuming you land both shots on the weak spot. For this reason, I think it is better against the bots. The bots, they just have a lot more one-shottable spots, and failing that can generally be brought down a bit easier by mag dumping. For some reason, I can never seem to get the Quancher to hit where I need it to on bugs. It's something about the shape of their bodies. They're just so long and bug-like. Then finally, there is the Illuminate. The Quancher is the worst against the Illuminate because the Quancher needs 2 shots to take down an Overseer, unless you hit them in the head. Burning 2 rockets on an Overseer seems like a bit of a waste, and if I found bugs to be difficult to headshot, then Overseers, especially the elevated ones, are damn near impossible. It does do well against Harvesters though, one of the few times I find that the laser is more of a tool than a liability. But enough about faction specifics, let's discuss how you actually want to play with this weapon. Step 1, turn off the laser. Step 2, find a thing you want dead. Step 4, mag dump. Yep, all that stuff I was saying earlier about how this weapon has 4 rockets, treat those 4 rockets like one very long rocket. It may not be efficient, but by God is it effective. This barrage is best aimed at whatever you can hit if you think it will get you a kill. The beauty of the barrage technique is that you don't really have to worry too much about each shot landing on the right spot. You just kind of designate a general vicinity of where a vulnerable part is and fire. That is, unless you find yourself very far from an enemy. The more distant you are from your target, the more sense it makes to use the laser designator. Well, distant enemies and gunships. The effectiveness of this weapon against gunships cannot be overstated. Part of me thinks that this weapon was developed with the sole intention of being an easier solution to those airborne automaton assholes. So, how does this weapon line up with other support weapons? It's pretty good. You know, it's disposable, it gets the job done. It's effective enough at any singular job you're going to need it to do. Anyway, that's the Commando. It may not be my first pick when it comes to disposable munitions, but I can certainly say that it is a pick. Give it a try the next time you drop in. Ooh, also before I go, I now have an affiliate code for Rogue Energy. Drink Rogue Energy. Use code McGrouch, all lowercase at checkout for 10% off Rogue Energy. Or click the link in the description. Bye.
Subscribe to me, Gouch. 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 Subscribe.